So the first movie I remember seeing in the cinema was The Empire Strikes Back, which I think has some synergy with the fact that all these years later, here we are working with Lucasfilm in Tourism Ireland on The Last Jedi, which of course featured Ireland so beautifully as a world in a galaxy far, far away. The piece of work in Tourism Ireland that I'm most proud of actually is what we did in response to the recession. So tourism was badly hit, 2008, 2009, 2010. We started with a blank sheet. We really clarified what the brand proposition for Ireland was, and we developed a campaign that ultimately was Jump into Ireland. And that campaign has helped contribute to record tourism numbers. We've seen growth more than 50% in the last 5 years in tourism revenue. There's a way that the work we did in tourism actually helped this country get back on its feet, and that's something I'm particularly proud of. I don't think you can underestimate how important creativity is for a brand. You only have to look at the data. Look at the analysis that comes out of the IPA, the Gunn report. Brands' spend can be 7 times more effective if it's highly creative. Well, in Tourism Ireland, we're working in a really competitive category. So in fact, creativity is key to stand out. I mean, a lot of tourism destinations are fairly similar. We've all got scenery, we've all got history. So how do you make Ireland stand out? And the answer has to be by putting the emphasis on creativity, because by doing so, we can get competitive standout, and as we've shown, we can grow our share of the global tourism market faster than our competitors. I admire brands that really invest in connecting with their consumers in an emotional way. I think some of great work at the minute from Vodafone Ireland. I think a lot of their advertising really connects with the Irish psyche. Likewise, some of what Aldi has done is absolutely spot on in finding a perfect tone of voice that makes a connection with the audience and that delivers a very strong and impactful brand message. You can't sell without engaging consumers. I mean, really, it's a battle for mind share these days when attention spans are so fragmented. When we started engaging in social media in 2010, we realized that, of course, early on, it wasn't the size of your audience, but rather the engagement that you're having with them, that's what matters. So we put in place our own metric, a social equivalent advertising value. In other words, what is the value of all the engagement that we're driving in social media? All those likes, all those shares, we had to pay for them. What would they cost us? The answer last year, 20 million euros. 20 million euros. So in other words, our marketing budget is 20 million euros better off by driving consumer engagement. Because if you can do that right, if you can touch their passions, touch their interests, and they share that, they like that, they comment, well then your job is more than half done. It's amplified, and that's a far better return for your marketing investment. All you have to do is go to the Ulster Museum in Belfast at the minute, where you can see Tourism Ireland's advertising on display. So for Game of Thrones Season 8, we created a tapestry that told the full story from Series 1, Episode 1 in tapestry form, woven with Ulster linen all the way up to the current season. And that is literally on display at the minute in the Ulster Museum. So you can go and see it. There had been, in the first 6 months, more than 50,000 people who have come to view that marketing, that piece of content. So yeah, certainly if it's good enough, marketing can be art. Well, creativity is more important than it was 10 years ago because the business opportunity for creativity is greater. If you look at what has happened over the last decade, and this is what I suppose the advertising research shows, is that brands are spending less on brand building and more on tactical. But that's not the right mix. I mean, the research is clear. The excellent work that's done by Les Binet, by Peter Field, the analysis, the ideal medium-term growth mix is 60% of your advertising on brand building, 40% on tactical. And generally speaking, we have moved away from that in Ireland, but elsewhere around the world as well. We need to get that balance right. Brands that get that balance right will grow faster and will have sustainable growth for longer. I think the biggest issue facing creative agencies now is understanding how to drive emotional engagement on small screens or with fragmented consumer minds. In other words, how do you communicate an emotional message? How do you engage people with your brand with 6 seconds viewing time on a mobile phone? So there's not one piece of work that I wish we had done in Tourism Ireland that we didn't do, but rather there's one piece that I wish we'd done more with. So when Ireland voted in favour of the same-sex marriage referendum, we had a little piece ready to go. So after the result was officially declared We did a little tourism piece aiming at the LGBT market, saying Ireland says yes. It was good. In fact, it was great. The engagement online was absolutely fantastic, and it was perfectly of the moment. In fact, our own research after the fact showed that Ireland got more engagement on social media that day than it even does on St. Patrick's Day. We were a worldwide story. We only spent 20 grand on the video. I wish we'd spent a lot more. If a young client was going for the first time to meet their creative agencies, I'd say before you go, just be very clear in your own head about what you're asking for. What is the brief? What is it that the business task that you're setting the creative agency to help you solve? A simple task to be done, clear guardrails, delivers good work. So my one recommendation to marketing directors and to marketing teams will be to read the work that's published in terms of marketing effectiveness. The work that's done by Peter Field and Les Binet is absolutely fantastic. It is very clear in terms of what works in brand marketing. It's very clear in what works in terms of channel choice, how best to use your media to get the best return on marketing effectiveness. To be honest with you, I find it quite inspirational work. It's fantastic, it's seminal, and really it should be in every marketing director's induction kit. In Tourism Ireland, it really was an honour to have our creativity and our team's creativity and our agency's creativity recognised at Cannes last year. So we were lucky enough to win a gold, a silver and a bronze for our Game of Thrones campaign for Northern Ireland. My ultimate creative hero? I think David Byrne of Talking Heads. There's a man that was in CBGB's in 1978 and was in Coachella in 2018. So a 40-year career driven by constant reinvention, constant creativity, many media, a man of music, a man of film, a man of books, a man of art. And frankly, if I'm still doing good work 40 years after I started, I'll be happy.